So wouldn't you know, Lou Holtz yet again just couldn't keep his mouth shut. Even at 88 years old, he still decided to take another shot at Ryan Day and Ohio State. Josh Pate and a few of the other guys on his show did a hilarious reaction to this. And this rivalry between Holtz and Day is almost unexplainable. To me, it really is just funny. It's not the point of this video, but it adds even more fuel to the fire for the Buckeyes to take care of business and bring home the natty again after a decade of waiting. And I want to talk about what the Buckeyes need to do to expose Notre Dame, because some of the concepts they have been using matched with the talent they have over the last 3 games of the playoffs have just been unstoppable. But before I begin, today's video is sponsored by Southern New Hampshire University. SNHU has one of the largest nonprofit online degree offerings in the country. It's also super affordable. They have a sports management degree in business and economics of sports, and their innovative program has been preparing students for careers in sports for more than 25 years. So if you're stuck in a job you hate, or you're just looking to further your knowledge and skills to turn your interests into a career, then SNHU is for you. I would highly suggest you click my link and check out the different programs they have available. Your courses are taught by faculty with real-world experience, so you'll have opportunities to connect with people in the industry, and when you graduate, SNHU will still be there to help you as you begin your job hunt. You also might be eligible for financial aid or have previous college credits that could fast-track your degree at SNHU. So the link is snhu.edu/Spencer Premier, and it will be at the top of my description. Alright, so the Buckeyes are in Atlanta right now getting ready to play Notre Dame in the national championship game. And before I even begin to talk about why I think the Buckeyes are going to dominate this game, I do want to give a shout out to the Fighting Irish for getting to this point, because I don't think anyone really expected them to, and they have just been so resilient all season long, and I love Marcus Freeman's creativity. But with that being said, I think Ohio State is better at pretty much every position on the field. I know the running back tandem of Love and Price match up very well with Henderson and Judkins, but Ohio State is bigger and faster at receiver, and I think the X factor is the defensive line the Buckeyes have. Once again, I expect to see Jack Sawyer be a disruptor and a force. And going back to the win over Texas, let's look at some of the plays the Buckeyes ran that made them so unstoppable. So first, in single wing formation, this is just a handoff to Judkins, but take a look at the block from number 85 Bennett Christian cutting across right. And then look at how good of a cut this was by Judkins as well. He burst right through the hole at the right time for the touchdown. And when the offensive line is picking up their blocks, the backfield is unstoppable. This running back tandem can only be as good as how the offensive line plays, and them stepping up over these playoffs has done wonders for the offense. Next, let's go to right before halftime to the infamous Henderson screen that completely changed the game. Chip Kelly chose to line 3 receivers out wide to the right, basically showing some sort of deep ball. At least that's what everyone thought, especially with no time left on the clock. So Texas blitzed to not give Howard time to set up the long throw, but in a complete 180, instead of blocking, Henderson slipped out and got the screen pass and patiently waited behind the blocks, and once there was a gap, he turned on the jets and took it to the house. This was the play of the game, this was the turning point, and this was one of the few times this season where Day and Kelly outcoached someone. And it couldn't have happened at a better time. And for as much as me and others dog on Day and Kelly, I gotta admit that they almost strategically planned out this season as a business instead of relying on emotion, because at the end of the day, they did not prioritize the regular season. They put all their focus into the playoffs, and it has paid off. Anyways, moving on to the next play, let's go to the fourth quarter. Another one of the key plays of the game was on 4th and 2 when Will Howard took off. The reason why I love this play is because it's completely a Howard decision, and the defense was definitely expecting the ball to go to number 4. And Henderson, who was the lead blocker, went right, so the defense expected him to follow, but instead he took the middle hole and bursted right through the defense for what may have been a touchdown if he didn't fall. But either way, job well done. I think these plays just show the different ways this Ohio State offense can attack due to the fact that the defense really has to focus on number 4 all game long. And that is why I am very confident that Ohio State is going to win the national championship. I think Notre Dame is a cool story. They are a very creative team. They pride themselves on winning in the trenches, but when you got Lou Holtz firing the Buckeyes up, all these outside factors that don't need to be there, I think the Bucks have a massive edge. And I mean, Ryan Day after this game might go find Holtz before he finds the trophy. That's how intense this has gotten for no reason at all. But back to football, one thing I would really like to see Ohio State do is go back to number 4 early and often. I thought Texas did a great job of taking him out of the game and forcing Will Howard to go elsewhere. But just like the Rose Bowl, you gotta throw it up to him. We've seen him make ridiculous catches in double coverage, and you don't only have to rely on him with deep balls. You can throw him the football on bubble screens, crossing routes, you can even hand it off. There are so many ways to get him involved, and I don't want to see what happened in that last game happen again, because the Buckeyes offense definitely was not near as explosive with him not being that involved. And if you're Chip Kelly and Ryan Day, you definitely want to make the Irish have doubts early. You don't want them to hang around and get confidence, because Notre Dame has been a resilient team all season long. And if you're Notre Dame, you're going to have to find a way to win a game scoring 20 to 24 points, because I don't think this Ohio State defense is going to allow more than that. I guess the good news is that in their last matchup, they held Ohio State to 17, but that was also not this season, as this is a completely different and more expensive team. But both Texas and of course Michigan were able to hold them to around 20 as well. But to me, from what I've seen, if the Buckeyes just play free, aggressive, and not afraid to make mistakes, they will score 40. I don't care if Will Howard throws a bad interception. Honestly, I would rather have a game with 2 interceptions where they play like they did against Oregon over a passive version of this offense where they will only score 28 points. And then once again, piggybacking off what I've said this entire season, the Buckeyes need to pass to set up the run. I honestly thought in the Texas game they ran a little bit too much off the bat. I thought they allowed the Longhorns defense to settle in and figure out their game plan for Smith, whereas if in the first 3 plays of the game you throw it to him, usually the defense would be left scrambling. And same can be said for Abuka and Tate. Those guys are the main reason why Ohio State has the upper hand in this matchup. I mean, we are looking at 3 guys who all are first round talents lining up out wide, and then G. Scott is at tight end. Man, there is just so many weapons. Let's take a look at what some of the other media outlets have been saying about this game.
Pate, 20 years from now, you're trying to explain the Lou Holtz Ryan Day rivalry to your kid. How do you explain it? Where do you start?
I can't explain it to anyone's kid now. Why do we have to go 20 years down the road? I think they have to figure out how to win a game by scoring 20, and if they get any more than that, that's wonderful. But I'm not counting on any more than that against Ohio State. Now, the good news is they held Ohio State to 17 in that game we're talking about last year. Texas just held Ohio State down to around this point total.
The Chiefs' offensive line's not great. Everybody's got a soft spot.
I think that the soft spot for Ohio State is actually a mental block, and it is the desire to be balanced and or tough.
They're too worried about that.
I think so. And when teams bait them in to running the football on first down, they're not as good as they could be.
That's all I got for this video. Thank you all so much if you made it to this point, and if you enjoyed and haven't yet, please be sure to drop a like and subscribe, because your support truly does mean the world. And also, let me know what you would like to see next, and until then, I will see you all later.